Hello, welcome to Her Journey Home. I'm your host, Sophia Noel Graniella. My mission here is simple: to hold space for honest stories and conversations that are usually left unsaid. This podcast is for the women in seasons of becoming, rebuilding their lives, reclaiming their voice, and remembering who they were before the world told them who to be. So come as you are, and let's begin the journey home together. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Her Journey Home. Today's conversation is going to be so much fun. I love human design, so I have brought on Ashley, and she is actually a human design coach. So welcome, Ashley, to Her Journey Home.
Thank you, Sophia. So excited to be here. So excited for this conversation.
Me too. I cannot wait to dive in. I found out my human design probably about 2.5 years ago. And when I find out my design, I had this big aha moment of, holy shit, I'm not crazy. And everything started to make sense. So I'm really excited to hear about your own journey with human design. So tell us a little bit about your journey. If someone is just meeting you for the first time on this episode, what is your work and what are you most passionate about right now?
Yeah, gosh, there's so many threads to pull with this question. So I love that we're starting here. But for anybody that has known me over the past 10 to 12 years, I am a corporate sales baddie. Like, just give me anything to sell, I've got it, and I will be at the top of the leaderboard showing everybody how it's done, right? So that's what I've really been known for. But that was all a mask that in a part that I was playing and feeling very performative in. And I finally have recently stepped into full-time coach using human design. So I would say I was in the spiritual closet for a really long time with all of my passions around just spirituality and bringing everything together. But let's start to, I guess, piece these together. So the past 10, 12 years, I was in tech sales, lots of wonderful companies, and I learned so much. And I, went into leadership very early on in my career, and I love leadership in tech sales. The thing that I really found that got me out of bed every morning was helping somebody become a better version of themselves, not necessarily the numbers that we were chasing every day. And so that's where I had a little bit of friction in my role. And that friction was really trying to tell me something that I just really didn't want to listen to. At first, I was trying to get into the leadership role because I was like, oh God, I'm helping my peers. It just feels so good. And the position that was promised to me got eliminated. So that was the first time I was kind of burnt, and I was being told to get redirected. That's when I became a coach. That was about 4 or 5 years ago. But I was too afraid. I was like, I know this corporate role so well. Let me just keep going with it. So I kept doing that. I got into leadership. I was hitting all these numbers, and then I got let go. COVID, tech, it's very volatile. So even if you are a great employee, winning awards, hitting numbers, you just never know when your number is going to get called. So I got let go. And I was like, okay, let me go and do the coach thing because that's what I actually want to do. But then they called me back with another great salary and I gave in again. And same thing happened again. Okay, so second time, and I'm like, no, for real, this time I am going to do this coach thing because I love it so much. And I've seen, so many women that I've worked with so far have so many great transformations. Gonna do it again. Somebody, that I just loved and loved working for. I was like, okay, it's going to be different because I'm going to be working with somebody that I know and trust. And lo and behold, got let go again with hitting the numbers, bringing in record setting deals. It just didn't matter. And so I was like, okay, finally, I am going to do this because I'm pretty much being forced at this point. Like, I'm kind of being forced out. It's like, Ashley, that's not your road. So I have taken a step back from corporate, went full time, all in on my coaching business. And at first, as a coach, I was just really afraid to include my spirituality and my spiritual journey that I've been on for the past 15 years. And as much as, and as exciting as it was to see these women get into new roles that they really wanted, feel more fulfilled in their relationships, all these things, I felt we could go deeper. So finally, I came out of that spiritual closet and I started integrating human design with my coaching work. And the leaps and bounds that I've seen women make in the short amount of time has just been phenomenal. And now it's just like it seeps out of me, out of all my pores. Like I can't not talk about human design, be human design, even though I still feel like I have so much to learn. So, and I would say the last thing here, what I'm most passionate about right now is taking human design from being just like something that you learn about and then you put on the shelf or you think it's something cool and then you do nothing with, actually making it into something that is usable, tangible, that shows up every single day because that is the thing that's really going to allow women to step into their authenticity, the courage that they need to truly be themselves. And that's really what I am here to do and what I am so passionate about helping women with right now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can feel your passion through the screen. So thank you so much for sharing and giving us more of your background and all of that. I'm curious as well, when you were continuously going back to your tech sales roles, it's like that little dangling carrot. Are you sure you want to do this coaching business? Are you sure? And then you go back and they're like, okay, I guess not. And then you do it again. But congratulations on being full time. Like, what an incredible achievement.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're just out here, grinding it out. It's really no difference from being in the corporate world. It's like,
Yeah.
you got to put yourself out there. You got to have systems. You got to have some kind of structure to your day. But I have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And everything is around like what really feels good rather than what like have to do. And so
Mm.
the shifts in my personal health, my sleep, my relationships, I didn't realize how much I was hurting myself by being somewhere that, it wasn't right, the right fit.
And you can always feel it, right? You can always feel a misalignment. And you said something really important about something I should do, right? I've changed language now is instead of saying I should be doing this or I have to do this, it's I get to do this. And when you create a life where you get to do all of these things, it feels so beautiful and expansive. And I now want to dive into human design, of course, because you are a human design coach. And I'm really curious. I want to know how you even really landed on human design, but what actually started to shift when you used it as a tool to begin to trust yourself and make different decisions?
Yeah, so I I learned about human design about 15 plus years ago now, when my best friend got a reading, and it was just amazing to see how this woman knew so much about my friend and helped her unlock so many things that were hidden to her, as just like how she could step into who she truly was, what she could let go of. It was really an amazing transformation that my friend had in just one session. So, of course, I was totally bought in. I'm like, please tell me everything. Unfortunately, in the state of Virginia, you don't get your birth time on your birth certificate. And I didn't have any way of knowing that. So I was just learning it for everyone else, specifically my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. I was like, let me tell you everything about you and let me help you figure you out. So that way you can, I see this potential, whatever us women think we can fix our man. Not that he needed fixing, but it was a really interesting journey to see how he was even able to step into his authenticity and really understand the way that he could interact and create less friction. He's a projector. So if you know anything about human design, projectors are here to guide and they're really good at efficiency, but they have a penetrating aura. So if you're not invited as a projector, that wisdom that you want to share, like how you can make somebody's life so much better, it will be met with so much just like friction, being like, who do you think you are trying to, and this is his life. And I was like, let me make it easy for you. And we just experimented with that. My grandfather and I were very close, and the day after he passed, we were cleaning out his bedside table, and he had a picture of me as a baby, as an infant, the one you kind of take right when you're born, and it had my name, my birth date, and my birth time. So this was 5 years ago, where I was able to actually dive into my own design and my own experiment. That's what they call human design. It's just an experiment for you to live. So from there, it was really this thing that opened me up to seeing how I was performing for the rest of the world. I'm a 5'1", so a 5 line has a huge projection field where people will look at you and say, "This is who you are to me." And if you're not aware of that projection field, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I can do that," because you are so capable. I can definitely rise to the occasion. I will definitely do that, especially a generator. We can do everything. And so I was doing that for my whole life, and it was just so eye-opening to for me to see how I had been performing a role rather being true and authentic to myself. And not just because I learned my human design did my life change, because, like, there was a lot of learning steps, that we had to go through. Obviously, I told you I went back to corporate many times. So but it really gave me the understanding of what the difference was for myself when I made a decision from my mind and what expectations and standards were set for me versus when I made a decision from my body. And that's really what started to change for me is when I could start to see even if I couldn't trust that decision with my body, I could see the decision with my mind and see the repercussions or the aftermath of that decision and how everything kind of showed up, not only in the interactions, but also in my body, how I felt my energy. Like, I had constant headaches, like, nausea all the time for no reason. I definitely always thought I was pregnant because I was so nauseous, but that was not the case. But, yeah, it was just amazing to see the difference between that mind decision versus the body decision, and after a while, after lots of failure and understanding what that was, being able to get to a place where now I can sense what the body is trying to tell me, and I can really trust it because I started with knowing when I wasn't making the right decision.
Oh my gosh, you explained that so beautifully. And there really is this power when you trust your body versus the analytical mind. And I'm a sacral authority. So for me, it really is that like gut feeling of when I feel that pull and that yes. And it's very interesting when I actually trust that versus my mind, which gets into sometimes, the overthinking and the, oh my gosh, should I do this and this? And it's going down that rabbit hole. So I think it's really beautiful that the human design also gives you your authority. So you know where to really tune into as well. And I want to know from you too, what does it actually feel and look like to live in alignment with your human design, especially in corporate or a leadership setting?
Yeah. Oh, this is such a good question. I'm so excited to answer this one. I'm excited for this question. So, what does it look like when you are using your human design in the corporate world? I think the biggest thing for me that I have this aha moment is acting from a place of scarcity rather than a place of abundance. And I will be somebody who I will sit here and I will admit it to everyone that's listening. I was not a girl's girl. I was in leadership at a very start of my career where there was no other women in the room. And my belief was that there wasn't enough room for more of us. And I was the chosen one. So therefore, I needed to be better than everyone else in order to have my opportunity, that there was only so few opportunities that will come by, so I better take it when it comes. And so when you're operating out of that, it's all scarcity. You're thinking that what's for you isn't going to come to you. As a generator, I'm here to magnetize opportunity to me, and whatever's for me should be coming directly to me. I don't even have to effort it. I don't have to, force it. And all I was doing was acting out of force, which sure, that worked for a while. And I definitely, achieved some things, but at the detriment of my health and my relationships and so many things. So when you are in the corporate world, knowing and acting from your human design, it's amazing how effortless opportunities come to you. They flow to you. The right opportunities, the right conversations, the right people, all of those things end up coming to you. And there is such a big trust fall that you have to take into yourself and your magnetism and your human design in order for those things to truly show up. So I would say that would be the thing on the individual level. When it comes to leading a team, I loved learning about my team's human design for those of them that would let me. And as a millennial manager, we're very much so in tune with our emotions. So that emotional intelligence is a huge part as to how we're able to adjust and understand what our team needs on an individual level. But then understanding their energetic needs of like what is really going to help them connect deeper with this work. What type of rest do they need? What's the best way to get their genius out of them? Understanding their human design creates this even closer bond between you and that rep, because it's like, I see you for who you are and what you're truly capable of, and the structure that you need to create for yourself, the boundaries that you need to create for yourself, that's going to allow you to show up as the best version of yourself. So it's really exciting to integrate human design into working with your reps, into working with your peers, because therefore, when you do that, you create space for them to show up with all of their gifts and also for you. And just amazing things can happen when you do that.
Oh my gosh, what a good answer. I'm like, I wish I would have had you as a manager back in my corporate days because it's really beautiful when you can connect with your team on such a deeper level and be able to utilize human design so that everyone on the team actually feels more connected to their work and they actually want to show up and give it their best and allow themselves to use their natural gifts. And I think there's so many corporate jobs now. Granted, I've been out of the corporate world for many years, but back in the day, it wasn't like that at all. It was very much just like, this is your job, this is what your role is, and that's all you do. And so there was no creative room to explore any other areas or things that we're naturally drawn to.
Yeah, and I think if you think about, like, employee retention,
Yeah.
and of everybody, like, hopping around, it's like when you feel like you're there and you have a deeper connection to the work, it makes you wanna stay. It makes you okay with dealing with the ups and the downs and the curveballs and all the things that get thrown at you, because you're like, they see me for a person. They see me as a person. And yeah, it was, and those reps I'm still super close with. And I love getting messages from them with little updates and, hey, how would I go about this? You know, and that's ultimately the reason why I do what I do.
Oh, that is amazing. I love that so much. I'm curious for the women that are listening to this episode, and maybe they're feeling just a bit disconnected from their current position or maybe just life in general. And they're a little bit unsure of how to actually start to trust themselves. Where can they begin, especially when it comes to maybe utilizing their human design?
hmm Yeah, so for me, I believe that the big thing that prevents us from trusting ourselves is because there's just too much noise telling us what to do, who to be, what to trust. So the best thing, the place to start is to just cut out the noise. I like to call them analog hours. Find some time in your day. If you can do it multiple hours, fantastic. But if you can just do it once a day or maybe once a week, just start wherever you can, but finding time to cut out the stimulation, go for a walk, do something that's away from electronics, away from anybody's opinions or thoughts, so you can really start to listen to yourself, be with yourself. What is the thing that keeps coming up in your head? What are the things you're getting pulled to? Just allowing yourself to be with yourself is, I would say, number 1. From there, really starting to take an inventory of, where am I performing, or where am I living up to somebody else's expectations or standards of living, where I've just been on autopilot and without judgment, right? This is not about like, it's terrible that I've wasted so much time doing these things. And I know that that's where you will go because that's where I was. So don't do that. It is a very much so of just taking inventory. What are you noticing? Where do you see you are being inauthentic to yourself versus being truly who you are? And then start to just stack more into the pile of being authentic. Sometimes you can't do a lot where you can't just quit your job, you can't just leave your family, like big things like that. But you can start with your morning coffee. You can start and check in with yourself and say, is this exactly the way that I want to start my day? Is this exactly the way that I want to make my coffee? Or am I just on autopilot? This was one of the things that I noticed for myself was I would wake up every morning, my husband would make us coffee, we'd drink coffee, and I'd get going. And I didn't recognize in myself, I didn't need the coffee. I was just drinking the coffee because it was always there. I was running a coaching group, and first day we're doing our presentation, I'm doing everything, doing so good. I had like great coaching conversations, great presentation. Second day, similar material, like same group of people, full of nerves. I couldn't understand why I got so nervous. I was sweating, like dripping down my arms. My hands were shaking. I'm like, what is going on? I'm not sure. The only difference was I had a cup of coffee that morning because my husband made me one. And so that really opened my eyes to I'm on autopilot here. So then I just started to check in. And that's all you have to do. Just start to check in. Is that really what you want right now? And what does your body say? And can you listen? Because not you don't necessarily need to act on it, but you need to start listening to yourself first and hear the yes or feel the yes, feel the no. Even if you can't act on it, at least you're getting practice in what that experience is in your body. And then as you go, you'll build up more and more, and you'll be able to eventually feel that sense of trust so easily.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful example with the coffee. And I can definitely relate to that. I'm now 2 weeks no caffeine. And it was really wild to see how much I was on autopilot with my matchas and my coffee and how much my body was rejecting it. I would get quite literally so anxious and I would feel so out of my body and disconnected. And now that I haven't been drinking the caffeine, all of a sudden I feel so much different. So it really just is about learning to really start to track those feelings, trusting your body on such a deep level, and being way more intentional with your time, like really taking time to slow down. Being on autopilot, I think so many women listening to this podcast can resonate with that because we get into our routines and our rituals and our careers and everything. And all of a sudden, we're just go, go, go. So you have to be able to really slow down to reconnect to your body and start to actually trust the signals and the messages that it's giving to you.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, absolutely. So I also would love to know, like, what are your thoughts on meditation? Because I know that lots of people love to start their day with whether it's silent meditation or meditation, guided meditation with music. What are your thoughts on that to reconnect to your body?
Yeah, meditation was definitely the thing that started to get me in tune with my body. And my stance on meditation is it is an act of rebellion because we are currently in a war on our attention. Everybody wants our attention. So, you using meditation as a way to train your awareness as to where you would like to place it that's rebellion in its purest form today. So everybody needs to meditate is my stance on it. My other belief is that you need to do it silently because like I said, we're all so heavily distracted with all the stimulation that's coming in. And while a meditation that is guided or has sound has wonderful benefits and there's definitely a time and place for that and it's great for relaxation, but you're also being told what to listen to, what to envision. You're being fed these different, frequencies through sound, even though they are very healing. You're not actually listening to yourself. And through silent meditation, you are truly deciding to tune into you. And that is the key to being able to live your life based off of what you want and not what other people are trying to put into your field.
Oh, so good. I love that. Yeah, I think meditation is a practice that every single human on planet Earth should start to implement because not only is it free and it's always something that is available to us, it is an act of rebellion. I love that you explained it that way. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, but we live in a world that is so distracting, that is so noisy. And when we are constantly flooding our brains with all of this external noise, it can be really, really difficult to come back to ourselves and hear our own voice and what it is that we want to actually share with the world.
And I get it. Like a lot of people are scared to sit with themselves because
Yes.
they think, all these things are going to come up. And that's what meditation is, babe. Like
Yeah.
what my meditation teacher taught me is like it's like going to the gym. You lift a weight, and as you lift that weight, your bicep grows, right? Well, you wouldn't go to the gym once and expect your bicep to be perfect after that. You'd keep going. And the stronger you got, the more weight you would put on. In meditation, when those thoughts come up, because they're going to, that's the meditation is to see the thought, observe the thought, and then come back. Just because you've got a lot of thoughts doesn't mean you're bad at meditating, it just means you have a lot of different things to use and exercise and build your muscles. That's all it is.
Oh my gosh, so beautifully explained. Yes, because I hear so many people oftentimes say, I can't meditate. Like my mind is too noisy. If I sit down, I'm bombarded by thoughts. I just can't do it. But that's not what meditation is. It's not to sit there with zero thoughts. And I think sometimes people are under that assumption when
Mhm,
in reality, you said it perfectly, but it's allowing the thought to come up, observing it, not making it mean anything about you, and then letting it go.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
I could
so
do a
good.
whole podcast on meditation, so don't get me started.
Round two, girl. Round two.
Yes.
I love it. I'm also curious, are there any other practices or rituals that you recommend for the women listening who may be a little bit new to starting to really trust their body?
Oh, that's such a great question. I would say you need something that you do for fun. Something that is fun that you do not plan to monetize because a lot of us are like, "Oh, I'm going to try this new thing because I'm eventually going to make it a business." Like, no, girl. Like, simply fun, only fun, not because somebody's watching you, not because you're trying to make money off of it, just fun because you need to reconnect with the play, the curiosity, the failure that it takes to learn something new. Like, all of that is so important when it comes to trusting who you are, redeveloping a sense of self, like play is in your sense of self. So find what that is and try multiple things. Find that try a bunch of stuff and find the stuff that doesn't work so that way you actually find your thing. That was roller skating for me. I am not good at by any means at roller skating, but I still roller skate and I have a I can tell you so many metaphors around roller skating of, falling, getting back up, and understanding where to shift your weight and how life gives you all these rocks and so many but anyways, it truly gives me a sense of joy, fun, play that I didn't realize I was missing and helped me rediscover what actually mattered to me. So definitely find your form of play.
Okay, that's my favorite piece of advice ever because I always say reconnect to your inner child and think about something that used to light her up and start to incorporate that again or just experiment, play trial and error. I'm a manifesting generator, as I was telling you before we recorded. So for me, I live my life through trial and error. But especially when it comes to play, go pick up a new hobby, go to a pottery class, go roller skating. I love roller skating myself and just see what makes you lose track of time? What really just brings you so much joy? And you said something that I also really want to touch on is you do not have to monetize every single thing you do in your life. I used to always think that. I would get all these certifications and I would go to do something and there was always this end goal in mind and it put this pressure on me and it took away the fun. So
Mhm.
just know you can actually go out and play without there being any need for an outcome, any need to prove yourself, just simply to lose track of time and to immerse yourself in something that brings you so much excitement.
Mhm, and this is the thing, your body gets attuned to the excitement. Your
Yeah.
body gets attuned to the freedom, to the expression, and that's what you want to show up when you are in a corporate meeting and your boss is giving you some bullshit assignment. You wanna be able to express yourself fully, freely, and you won't be able like, being able to connect with that through play allows that to show up in so many other ways. So just know you're attuning yourself to the feeling that you wanna bring into everywhere else in your life.
Oh, so good. The women are going to eat this episode up. I We're going to wrap up here just a few more questions. But if someone listening to this podcast right now has never even heard of human design, which is wild because I was in Santa Barbara a couple weekends ago and I heard someone say, "Wait, what's human design? How do I even see my chart?" And I was like, "Girl, what? Is this real? You don't know your human design?" So there are definitely still people that have not started utilizing human design or maybe they've heard of it and they haven't actually looked up their chart. What would you recommend them to go and do so that they can start to actually incorporate their chart and human design into their life?
Yes. Yeah, I, am still shocked as well. So, I'm on the same boat. But but for those of us who have not found out what they are, the first thing that you wanna do is look up your chart. There's so many free websites to do this. I love Jovian Archives. They are, like, OGs in the space with human design, but there's so many just look up, Google "free human design chart." You'll be able to pull your information, your birth date, your birth time, location, that's what it's all based off of. And then you're going to get this beautiful chart that has a million numbers on it and a bunch of shapes and a bunch of colors, and you're going to get overwhelmed. Don't pay any attention to any of that. That's my first advice. The second thing you want to do Look at what your type is and your strategy and authority. If you can just understand your type and your strategy and authority, what your type is, how what your aura is like, basically like how your energy interacts with the people around you. Your strategy and authority is all about how to use that energy and then how to make decisions that are in alignment. Those three pieces, if you can understand and implement and use those things, the rest of the chart, all of the numbers, all of the colors, all the shapes come to life without you needing to know anything else. So just start there.
Thank you for sharing that because I remember when I first pulled up my chart and I saw all the numbers and this huge thing, I thought to myself, holy cow, where do I even start? So it can definitely be a little daunting when you're first looking up your chart, but just listen to the advice that Ashley gave because it will really unlock so much within you. And I honestly just feel like human design is a really big permission slip because if you've been doing certain things your entire life or you feel really drawn to certain things, human design is probably going to confirm that you're on the right path, or it's going to confirm, oh, this is why this feels really good.
Yes, I always say that human design is a permission slip to just be you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, so I wrap up every single episode with this one question, which is what is one powerful message that you want every single listener to walk away with today?
Ah, yes. What I want everybody to walk away from is if you are listening to this podcast, then you are meant to do big things. Because the woman who is investing in herself, that is learning about herself, that goes so deep with the understanding of how you work and how others work, you are meant to change the world. And I know that can feel like a lot, and you can instantly have this sense of imposter syndrome like, who am I to do these things? But I need you to know that the world needs you to step into who you are meant to be because the world is shifting and changing, and you are a big part of how we are going to move it in the right direction. So, this is my message. I want you to hear it loud and clear that it is time. It is time to step into it, to own it. And if you are unsure, human design is a great tool, but there's a lot of tools out there that will help you get more clarity on what that is. But if you've got this sense and if you're in this audience, I already know that you are meant for something really big.
Oh my goodness. That was such a beautiful way to wrap up this episode. I know that so many women are going to take away so much from this time together because I really think, like you said, human design is just a beautiful tool to start to integrate into your life and to really help you to pave that path that you are on and to be able to express your natural gifts into the world and spread your freaking lights. Like Ashley said, you are meant to do big things. I know the women in this community are all really powerful, courageous, incredible women and souls. And you have something that is meant to be shared with the world. So I'm sure that landed very deeply on their hearts. And where can people work with you? Do you have any programs or anything coming up?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So you can find me on Instagram at with Ashley Gomez. I'm also on LinkedIn, a little different flair there on LinkedIn with Ashley Gomez, CPCC. I've got a couple of different things you can step into. I do what I call the self trust reset, which is basically a human design reading, but also gives you some somatic tools, some nervous system healing. Because again, for me, is like human design is something good to know, but it's more so about living it through your body. So I believe integrating a lot of those modalities help bring it to life. So I've got that. And then I've got my one to one coaching container of Becoming Her. If you want to take human design and you want to take all of these things that you've been thinking you want to do, but you just haven't taken action on it, Becoming Her is a beautiful space for you to come in, take action, and to finally create the life that you've been dreaming of. So that's what we can partner on.
Oh, that sounds absolutely incredible. I will make sure to link all the details in the show notes, including your programs as well, and your LinkedIn and your Instagram. And I am so grateful that you came onto Her Journey Home. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and all of your knowledge around human design.
Yeah, this was such a pleasure, such a gift. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Absolutely. I freaking love your energy. I just want to wrap up with that. You have this radiance about you that shines through the screen. And I'm sure everyone who listens will also be able to feel that. So thank you so much for your presence.
Ah, thank you. That was so sweet.
Of course, have a beautiful day. And for anyone that's listening, please go ahead and like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast so that more women can hear these episodes. Share it with your beautiful community. And as always, I will see you for another episode next Thursday.